Hello, guys and gals. You're probably wondering why the screen keeps changing. Why I had candy in the second one and this in the third one. It's so that I can differentiate these when I go to upload these. I'm making these in one long consistent line, and I'm not sure how much longer my voice is going to hold out, but I'm going to probably keep talking until it goes out. Anyways, if you haven't seen, well, this is part 3, so if you haven't seen the first 2 parts, then look those up. Anyways, this is a narrative of Undertale. It is the intellectual property of Toby Fox and copyright to him. I like his games. I mean, I haven't had a chance to play Undertale, but it is in my Steam wishlist. And yeah, this is really an amazing game that I think everyone should play at least once, because it's just so ingeniously made, and I admire Toby Fox for it. He also created a game called Deltarune. I don't know if we'll go through that one or not, but I might do a narrative of that one too, even though it's a little bit more complicated than Undertale, to a certain extent. Anyways, we were talking about Toriel, and basically how she's such a motherly figure, and yeah. In the first episode, we learned that she and Asgore had a falling out and were divorced after Azrael was killed by the humans. And she didn't actually let that, sure, she was devastated by it, but she didn't let that color her opinion of humans, because she still goes about trying to save them. But apparently she had tried to dissuade 6 humans from leaving. She doesn't force the humans that fall into the underworld to stay, but she failed to keep them safe to a certain extent because Asgore has their souls. And again, Asgore isn't really a bad guy. He's just got his own motivations that, in his eyes, are righteous. Anyways, the protagonist, we'll call them that. The protagonist, yeah, let's see. The protagonist, he is in Toriel's house, and she gets kind of quiet anytime that you want to leave. I mean, and so if you go down to the basement, then she'll say, "Oh, let's go back upstairs." But if you keep on doing that, she will threaten to destroy the way out, to dissuade you from continuing. Anyways, it all culminates in having to fight her. And what's kind of sad is that if you're new to the game and you're going in completely blind, some people don't realize that you can spare her now, and kill her on accident. And that's kind of heartrending, because basically she is such a well-developed character, a well-designed character, and she's so motherly and caring. You can spare her, it just takes a while, and in order to get the true pacifist route, you do have to spare her. You don't have to spare her if you're on a neutral route or anything like that. And if you're on a genocide route, you do have to kill her. But anyways, like I say, this game is all about choices and consequences, and there's a consequence for each time, or every time that happens. Now, we talked about alphas before, and once you do get past Toriel, and you're outside the door, and if you go to the bush, you'll see there's a camera there. Anyways, and you find out later that Alphys has been watching you, or watches the door. And we've already talked about Alphys, and if you want to learn more about Alphys, then that's part 2. Anyways, the next character you meet is Sans, and Sans is a skeleton. And he's a jokester, and he's really a great guy. I mean, he's funny, and pretends to be lazy and all that. However, Sans is probably one of the most powerful monsters in the underground, with the exception of Hyper Death Form Azrael, I'd say. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because, again, I haven't played the game. I've only watched the walkthroughs. A partial pacifist run and a full neutral run. Anyways, then there's Sans. And Sans has a brother named Papyrus, and Papyrus is really silly too. And I think that Papyrus means well, and Sans does too. Anyways, Sans meets you, and he says, "Oh, a human," and stuff like that. And he makes a joke. And he's like, "Oh, good. My brother needs a little entertainment or something." And Sans is trying, not Sans, Papyrus is trying to be one of the royal guards. And he's just, like, not cut out for it. And Papyrus is just also really, really funny. And he speaks in this big font, Papyrus. Anyways, let's talk about Sans, though, first. Sans has interesting powers. And he is a time traveler. And he basically knows everything you do. And right before you face the king in the royal palace, you encounter Sans, and he judges you based on how many monsters you've killed and how many execution points you have. And yeah. But yeah, Sans is just comic relief and just really, really amazing. Now, one thing about Sans and why Sans is actually helping you is actually heartrending if you've actually killed Toriel. You see, every day Sans walks to the door to the ruins and knocks on it, and Toriel would talk to him and tell him jokes. If you go into Toriel's room in the ruins, before you face her anyways, you'll find a joke book, and she'll have, the jokes that she was going to tell Sans that day marked. And later in the game, Sans will take you aside and say, well, the voice behind the door said, well, a human was probably going to be coming down here soon. So look after the human and keep it safe. And so Toriel cared enough for you to actually have someone like Sans take care of you and watch out for you, which I always thought was kind of touching, and it's also kind of crushing if you've accidentally killed Toriel. Anyways, so yeah. Now, I say that Sans is probably one of the toughest bosses. If you actually take on Sans, which you do in the genocide route, he is really, really tough, unless you learn his attacks. And that's that. And he's also a jokester. Like, for example, I think one of the secrets is you can actually enter Sans' room. It's usually locked. And you'll keep walking and walking and walking, and Papyrus will come in and say, "Oh, hey, why are you on the treadmill?" And because you weren't getting anywhere because you were on a treadmill, and that's just kind of clever. Now, another secret involving Sans is that there's a basement to Sans' house, and in it there is a machine that's covered up by a sheet, and you'll find different things. One thing you'll find is a badge, and another thing you find is a photo album. And it's implied that Sans is a time traveler and that he uses a time machine to, traverse time. Anyways, that's all about Sans. Now, we probably have time to go into Papyrus. Papyrus likes to cook, and he likes to cook spaghetti. And one of his traps is he wants you to eat the spaghetti, but it's like frozen to the table and probably thoroughly inedible. But anyways, that's the thing. That's the thing with Papyrus is he loves spaghetti and he loves making spaghetti. And the point is he probably isn't the best cook in the world. But anyways, you eventually get to befriend Papyrus, and he's just a pretty great guy. There really isn't too much I know about him, just that he's a blast, and I just love reading about him and talking about him. But yeah, it has been about 10 minutes, and we can probably go more into this later. Again, I really appreciate all the support, and I I'm about to lose my voice. Sorry about that. There we go. But yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, like, subscribe, share, comment. I was going to say donate, but I'm not going to be putting donation protocols into the description because I don't want to be profiting off of anybody else's work. So, yeah, we are going to forego that. As always, I appreciate all support. Thanks for watching and have a great day.